Hello, my name is Kathleen. I am a registered psychologist and I'm currently studying my master's in clinical psychology. Welcome to my vlog. It's 9:30 a.m. I've just arrived at uni. I've got so much on today, so I'm just going to update you as we go through the day. I think the time is now about 1 o'clock and I did not go to group supervision today. Instead, I got to go to this induction for a volunteer program I'm doing. The main reason I wanted to do it is it provides exposure to working with a population of people that I haven't really had the opportunity to work with before. So it's people with dementia. So I'm really excited for this. Just finished up for the day. It's probably 5 o'clock and my brain is fried. In the afternoon I met with some of my peers and we worked on our assignment. And my take home from it is that testing is not my strength. It is not something I enjoy. It really helped talking to my peers and getting our thoughts out about the report. We have to interpret the results. I'm feeling a little bit more okay about it, but it is due on Sunday. I have not written it up. Today is Tuesday. There's not really a lot to say. I'm still quite overwhelmed with how much I need to do, and I basically just need to do it. Also, I just want to quickly say about a week ago, I was maybe at 4,900 followers. So this is growing really quickly. 55 followers away from 5,000. It blows my mind a little bit. Most Wednesdays I wake up pretty tired and not that motivated to go into class, but today is different. I've got my bone broth, I feel prepared, ready to focus, and today's also our last class, so excited to be nearly finished with the winter semester. I've just had a quick break. The morning class was really interesting. It was all about culture and testing and cultural factors to consider, psychometric testing. Yeah, super interesting. It's got me thinking a lot about the use of interpreters, because I've used interpreters with therapy before, and just kind of things to consider on that front. Anyway, I've got to get back to class. Some good news. I have technically finished my winter semester course. Technically. However, I still have 2 pieces of assessment due for that course and so much to do for the end of my first clinic placement, and I've got to get everything done by the end of next week. Quick recap of the winter semester. It was all about cognitive testing across the lifespan. We covered different types of assessment tools like intelligence testing, so the WISC and the WAIT, and achievement testing, so the WIAT. And then we learned about neurological disorders like ASD and ADHD. Today it was very much focused on culture, which I really liked, and thinking about testing from a cultural lens. And we learned how to do report writing today. Yeah, so it was quite intense. Really want to try and write up some of my cognitive report tonight. That's due. It's about hypothetical client, and this client has done the WISC and the WIAT, and I need to interpret the data and then write up a report on it. And our lecturer said today that brief is good. She said she likes brief reports. And yeah, then we've got one other assignment. It's we've all been given a specific topic, and I haven't actually looked into it yet, so I don't know the full details, but I think it's to look at testing with a particular topic. So my topic is psychosis, so to look at how we would test for psychosis, but I'm not actually too sure, so I really need to look into that one. So there's not really a lot for me to say other than I am just trying to get by. I'm just trying to do my work. I've got so much to do. Sometimes it's a Friday night, and sometimes you decide to just keep working after working all day. Sometimes that's the reality of study, especially the clinical master's program. Saturday, and I'm at uni. I'm gonna go to the library. It's definitely better going to the library than staying at home, because I'm just not as productive at home on a weekend. So it's been just a whole day literally of study
in the library.
I haven't really done any updates today. It's Sunday. Today is the day that my cognitive report is due. I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about how I'm going with it. I'm still finishing it, but I have a much better idea of what I'm doing now. I've probably written 2/3 of it up, so I'm very close. It's now 9:18 p.m. I'm nearly done. Gone down a lot of rabbit holes. Something else I've been doing, which is kind of like my favorite form of procrastination with assignments, and it's super random. I start to write a piece of fiction. I don't know why, but lots of short, unfinished stories. This is it, down to the wire. It's 11:55 p.m. I need to upload my assignment. I've just been rereading it over and over again. It's submitted. That was really stressful. I'm too old to be dealing with this sort of stress. Let's do a Q&A. I haven't done one of these in a while. I really need to get back to everyone that's left comments on the videos. I'm so grateful when people leave questions or share feedback or share kind of their experiences, because I really think it provides a lot for other people. It builds on the community atmosphere. Yeah, I've also got some tea. So there's been a spike in views and comments recently, which is really cool. There's a lot to go through here. Okay, here's a comment that I think is actually really practical if you haven't studied psychology but you want to get into it in Australia. Basically, the person says, I've already done my bachelor's degree and I'm tossing up between doing a graduate diploma in psychology or starting a new bachelor in psych. I'm leaning towards the GD since it's shorter, but I'm not sure if unis prefer applicants with a full psych degree when applying for masters. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've got a moment. Definitely do, yeah. I think this is a great question, and I've spoken to unis about this. You know, the tricky thing is it's really hard to know what every single uni out there is looking for, but overall, from what I've gathered, it doesn't really matter if you've got a GD or a bachelor. I don't think that's kind of like a deal breaker. I think the key things is that you want to aim for really good results during your honours year or your advanced grad dip year. You want to try and do really well. And again, I don't think it actually matters too much which one of those you do. As long as you get really good grades, that's kind of the key. And you really want some clinical kind of experience. And you really want to show in your personality that you have values that fit this profession, that you've got kind of what it takes. You want to be kind of organized, disciplined, and reflective. Good question, and I hope that helps. Okay, this is a really cool comment. I just got accepted into the MCP studying full-time. I am a mother of 5 doing it with minimal outside help other than my husband. What would you have wanted to know before you started that you believe would have helped? Any other thoughts you want to add, also feel free. That's amazing. My mom did her clinical masters with 4 kids, and I have so much respect for moms or dads, like parents that go on to do a masters. I kind of feel like they're the people that are also the most organized, because I think it takes a lot to organize kids. So much respect for parents that go on and do this. Yeah, look, okay. My hot tips would be, if you're just about to go into a master's program, you've got a few months to kill before you get into the program, I would say, if you can, try and do a mini CBT course or a mini ACT course, like a mini course on a therapeutic technique or modality that you really want to become more fluent in. It will set you in such good stead, because from what I experienced at my uni, it was pretty much hit the ground running into the therapy room, and it's really, really helpful if you have a bit of an idea of some therapy techniques. There's also a really great website. It's CCI, and they do a lot of modules and resources that are for free for therapists that are so helpful. And I remember just binge watching and kind of consuming all of that content when I first became a provisional psychologist. So I'll leave a link to that somewhere down below, and some links to like courses that I've looked at in the past that I found really helpful. Probably release a video down the track with all my other ideas of what you could do. All right, I'm gonna do one more comment. This one, they say, thanks so much for sharing your journey. So helpful. I'm so glad. You've mentioned that psychs need to reflect a lot. I'm doing my honours at the moment and have lots of critical reflection assignments. Any tips for effective reflection? This is a really good question too. So many good questions. Let's get out the whiteboard for this. There's a framework for reflection that I really like. It's the idea of reflecting on your therapeutic practice with people, and it relates to these two concepts: self-practice and self-reflection. And it's kind of like a structured way of enhancing your skills as a therapist. So the idea is that you practice a technique on yourself or with someone else perhaps, and then you go away and you actually actively reflect on what that was like and imagine what comes up for you and your own personal experience doing that CBT technique. So that's the gist of it. And I really like it because I think if you are not practicing the skills that you're teaching people as a therapist, then there's no point in teaching it, because I think you really want to try and understand the nuance of what the client might be going through. Yeah, I think that's one framework I really like in self-reflection. I should really do some work now. I need to stop avoiding it, get into it. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon, I hope. All right. A new day, and I am back at my desk. The fun does not stop. Quick breakdown. I've got my case report, which was technically due last Thursday. My supervisor would like me to get it done ASAP, so I need to crack on and get that finished. I'd love to finish it today. I'm really going to try and push for that. Plot twist. Last night, I did a lot of work on the case report. I had like a solid hour and a half of just straight productivity. So hopefully I will get it done today. And I'm also hoping to just get some general admin done and also potentially start an assignment due on Sunday. Fingers crossed. It's been an extremely productive day. I am so close to finishing. You know, something kind of exciting that's come up is that I've started talking to my research supervisor and working out a time to meet with her. And I'm really excited to work out what I'm going to do for my project. I'm starting to think about a few things. That's something in the works coming up, which I'll definitely talk more about probably in upcoming episodes. But yeah, big news, which I'm sure you're excited to hear about, is that I just finished the case report, so that's a huge win. Today at the clinic, I'm probably going to stay quite late because I really just want to get a lot of my clinic admin done. So today's going to be a big one. We are on the home stretch. Things are moving. I'm nearly there. I'm so close. So I have one more assignment that is due on Sunday night for this cognitive assessment course. Oh, and also I got some feedback from my lecturer to say that she wants me to have another look at my WISC, just go over the primary analysis again. Must have made a mistake, so I've got to fix that up. And with the clinic, the end of clinic stuff, I have to wrap up all my notes and prep for end of placement review. The quality of this vlog has progressively gone downhill. I do want to acknowledge that. I am aware, and I figure everyone watching this is watching it to understand what the masters is like, so I'm giving you a very raw idea of just how busy it is. The moment I'm coming home at the end of every day exhausted. The other thing that I always come back to is I'm also doing stuff I really enjoy and love. So even though it's very full on, it's also quite satisfying and there's so many cool things you're learning. Overall, worth it, but it's a lot. Anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to do a quick update was I had a very great conversation with my supervisor. It was our last supervision session ever. It's one of those chats that I'm going to remember probably forever. We kind of zoomed out and talked about therapy. We talked about how context is more important than content. And sometimes it's really easy to focus on content, but you always have to come back to the greater context. And what my supervisor was kind of alluding to with this was that we all tell ourselves stories, but these stories aren't, they're not necessarily true. We all tell a story about ourselves and also about the people around us. We're good at telling stories about other people, and that's not necessarily the truth. Not to say that they're not important, they're influenced by context. There's also layers and layers of things that kind of influence all of this. There's a balance in therapy where you need to listen to the content and you need to pay attention to that. So you also need to take a step back and zoom out and look at the broader context and think about what's driving some of these things, like what's driving this belief about oneself. I think it's a skill I am still developing, but it's something that I really like because I think there's something quite liberating in reminding oneself that we are not our stories and that our environment plays a massive role in shaping who we are and influencing us on a day-to-day basis. And if someone's acting off, you can't just assume it's because of XYZ. We just have no idea sometimes what's going on. I just really, really like to come back to that space. I hope that made sense. And now I'm gonna go and do this assignment that's due on Sunday that I need to get cracking on with. So wish me luck. I did not do any assignment work last night. I was really tired. Anyway, new day, and this is the last clinic day of the placement, so that's exciting. Here we are. Let's zoom out. So that last clip that you just saw was filmed on Friday, I think 2 weeks ago. At that point, I was so tired and that was my last day of my placement. I'd finished the winter course, so I was just coming up to the weekend, and I needed to finish off this assignment. It was my last assignment for my winter semester. So I got to spend that weekend finishing off that assignment, and it was a little bit harder than what I was expecting, and it took a little bit more time than what I was expecting, so I just couldn't really film anything. And sometimes that happens. So anyway, here we are now. I've had like 1 week off, kind of wrapping up the placement. I've done my end of placement review. So yeah, that's been quite nice. And yeah, now I've got another week before placement 2 starts. So to wrap up this episode, I alluded to some exciting news in the previous one. I can share that with you now. I also have some updates coming up in my next few episodes, hopefully, so stay tuned, of course. But yeah, the exciting news is that recently the channel hit just over 5,000 followers. So I guess for me, that's like an indicator that this platform is helpful. And I think particularly this series, the Clinical Masters series, has had a lot of positive feedback. And I think it's been really helpful for my little YouTube community. And my take on it is that when I was in my undergrad and my honours year, I really wanted to know what the Clinical Masters course was like, because it's kind of elusive and it's hard to get a real sense of what it's like, because the work that you do during it is quite different. It's more practical based. It's the practical essence of being a psychologist, whereas in your undergrad and honours, it's more theoretical. I think it's really cool to kind of release something like this from more of a bottom-up perspective, and I think it's also a really hard thing to do as a uni student, because this course is very, very demanding and you have to be really careful with managing burnout and not taking on more than you can handle. And I'm in a really fortunate position where I'm already registered as a psychologist, so I already have a bit of a sense of what the workload is going to be like. I still find it hard though. Even though I have a sense of what it's like, I still find it difficult here and there. It's just such a heavy workload. And I think I'm also lucky that I am really passionate about making videos. Like, this for me is kind of fun and it's my downtime and it's something I love to do. So that together has helped me create something like this. And it's had really positive feedback and I think it's really helping people. But if I look back on kind of where I was at with starting off with this channel 4, maybe 5 years ago now, I think, back in end of 2020, back then for me, it was never about blowing up or becoming like YouTube famous. For me, it was always about doing something that would be helpful for people. So I think that's why I want to kind of celebrate this milestone, because even though 5,000 followers is still kind of small, it's something I'm proud of in the sense that I think it's really helping people. So yes, and kind of as a way of celebrating this, I've decided I'm going to release a very, very short video. It was one of the first videos I ever released, and I took it down from my channel because it's the second video that I ever filmed, so it's not my best work. It shows you how far I've grown, but it's got a really nice message to it that I based off of an organizational psychologist. While I was living in London, I got to hear him talk, and I really liked what he had to say, so I made a really, really short video about it. I'll try and link him down below too if I can find that reference. But yeah, this is just a little inspiring clip, and a huge thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. It brings me so much joy to see that it's at a point now where it's actually having impact. So thank you, and I'm gonna leave it there, but I'll see you in another episode soon, and enjoy this little video. And keep in mind that this was, when I look at this, I cringe a bit. This is my early work, but yeah, enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye! People, often with really good intentions, will tell you your dream is impossible, or you're aiming too high, or you can't do that. And they're not saying it because they don't care about you. It's usually the opposite. They're saying it because as humans, we're designed to analyze a situation and look at everything that could go wrong. It's called our fight-flight response. It's what keeps us safe. And it's also what can kill dreams. Because dreams require us to take risks. Some more calculated than others, and risks involve danger. So essentially, your brain isn't always your friend in dream chasing. To do impossible things, you need to learn how to be optimistic and believe in what's impossible.
The first steps towards becoming more optimistic is to start by becoming more aware. So start paying attention to your thoughts. What are you telling yourself? Is there a pattern? Is your self-talk more negative or more positive? It's true, people are predisposed to have a slightly more negative or a slightly more positive outlook on life, and maybe that seems unfair. But what is so great about optimism is it's not solely built into your DNA, it's teachable, and you have the potential within you to learn. In fact, part of adopting a more positive mindset is to be pushed back and to go through the rock bottom of your life only to resurface with a new appreciation for the miracle that is your life. Because if you can go through that pain and suffering and still stand here today, then you really can do anything. The associated danger with a dream will seem minuscule to what pain or trauma you experienced. Like a spring, whatever has pushed you back will help you soar. So start with awareness, hone in and focus on your thoughts, because they become your words, which become your actions, which will define the person that stands in your reflection today. And don't let that person down by writing off a dream or a goal that was important to you, but seemed impossible. Start by getting clear on what you're saying to yourself and let that guide you towards taking meaningful action towards the impossible.